Hello again, everyone. I'm Vince. This is Jimmy. We're at Couch with Couch Coaching. We're talking about the Houston Texans for the 2012 football season, and we'll break it down their third quarter matchups. As of right now, the Texans are 6-1 after the 2 quarters of the season, and they look good. They look good. And they had the one misstep against the Green Bay Packers on a Sunday night game. But outside of that, they've been looking really good.
Yeah, I actually have to give props where credit is due. I mean, they're 6-1. They are what their record says they are. They're really good. Of course, primetime game. They're 1-1. They beat the Jets on a Monday night game, then turn around and just didn't even show up for the Green Bay game.
Right, and what's funny about it is when we watched it, when we talked about the New York Jets game, after that game had occurred. They won, but they didn't look good winning. Mm-hmm. And you kind of felt like that what happened to them against Green Bay was going to happen. I just didn't think it was going to happen like that.
Yeah, no, I didn't think it was going to happen the way that it did.
Right.
But their defense did not show up at all.
No.
But what I have to say, though, is that it showed that the Houston Texans are not immortal.
Right.
I mean, when you look at the Texans, a lot of people are like, oh man, they're just going to steamroll. They're just going to keep going. They're Super Bowl bound. Well, they may be Super Bowl bound. The NFC is not looking strong.
Right.
So the NFC, they could be Super Bowl bound.
Exactly.
But you go against a team like the Giants or a team like Green Bay.
A lot of teams in the NFC, right? Exactly.
These teams that have wide receivers that follow the Green Bay blueprint,
right, and
spread them out. Now, Houston's D is great.
Right.
They have great corners and great safeties, but they don't have enough.
Right.
I mean, they made James Jones look like a superstar.
Right.
They made Jordy Nelson look like a superstar.
And we got to remember, they were the Green Bay Packers were without their best wide receiver in Jennings that evening.
Right. So, I mean, and on top of that, they ran the ball fairly well, too, because they spread them out. Right. When you play jammed up, like a lot of teams are playing against the Texans, you're allowing that defense that's already powerful enough to be right there with you. Right. And they have speed. They'll get to the outside if that's what the case is. Right. But you spread them out, they have a hard time.
Ball game. I thought Baltimore would be able to do that, but I think that Baltimore game, they had a bounce back game against Baltimore. They had on their battle red jerseys. Yeah. And so they ended up winning that game. But I thought that Baltimore might have had enough personnel to do something like what Green Bay did, but it just wasn't enough.
No, I don't think so at all. I think the loss of Lewis and Webster. Right. I think just
too much. Right.
Because I mean, you're talking about a team that never beat the Baltimore Ravens ever. Right. Just showing them exactly who they were. Right. And what they thought of them.
Right. Exactly.
There was no love lost between them at all that game.
Yeah, they manhandled.
Which I'm glad.
Right.
But I mean, it's. No love lost is what that is.
Right.
I mean, but getting to the first week match, the first matchup in the third quarter. Yeah. Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills. I'm interested to see it on so many different levels. But for me personally, now I'm gonna let you have your say first. Then I'm gonna say why I really want to see it.
I want to see what the running attack can do against the Houston defense. Right. Because we haven't been able to see that through anybody. Right. C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson.
Right,
I like
together,
both,
right.
Yeah, I like both of them. They should both be healthy in this game. I mean, when you're looking at it, their run game, I want to see what it can do. Right. Because run sets up so much other stuff. Now, the wide receiver personnel, I don't think Fritz Patrick is going to be able to get to his wide receivers as much. Not with as much as what J.J. Watt's doing.
Right, exactly. Speaking of J.J. Watt, in Buffalo, Mario's coming on back home to Houston.
Hold on, not to stay, right?
No, okay. Definitely not to stay. Okay. And we don't want him to come back and stay either. Mario, you enjoy yourself in Buffalo, man.
Freeze your tail off.
Enjoy all your money and everything, and have a great time up there.
Because I'm gonna let you know, there's one person on this couch that didn't like you to begin with.
Speaking of that, we're gonna go back to look at the 2006 draft. A lot of people, felt like that. The Texans should have either taken, Vince Young or Reggie Bush. And then they ended up taking Mario Williams. Well, Vince Young is out of the league, and Vince Young never got any better. Yeah. Reggie Bush Well, it remains to be seen. But coming into that particular offense, I don't think that's who they need to draft.
Yeah, no.
So they ended up drafting Mario Williams.
Which I was never for the idea of Mario Williams.
Right.
And I think if a lot of people look back, there was a lot of people going like, Mario Williams.
Right.
Who the heck is Mario Williams? We're yet to see who Mario Williams was.
Right.
6 years down the road, we are yet to see something out of this first round, first draft pick that we had in Mario Williams. I mean, I know a lot of people watch NFL, top 10 most busts in the NFL. He will be on this show.
On that list, right, in a couple of years.
I would not be surprised if he beats Ryan Leaf in the #1 spot on that show.
At some point.
Because I'm telling you, if that ain't a bust, I don't know what is.
Look, this guy right now, up to this point, now, as we're taping this show, they've already, him and J.J. Watt, we're going to do a comparison between the two on why, and this is why the Texans could afford to let him go. But they played the exact same amount of games. Mario Williams has, to this point now, has 3.5 sacks, 16 tackles, 13 of those tackles are solo, and 1 pass defense.
That's it?
1 pass defense.
That's all. That's all of his stats.
That's it.
So out of 7 weeks, that's it.
That's it.
And I don't think they've had their bye yet either.
No.
So he's played 7 straight games.
Right. So they played the exact same games because as we're taping this, the Texans are in their bye week.
Right.
So J.J. Watt, on the other hand, I believe he had 37 tackles, 27 solo, 9.5 sacks, and 10 pass defenses. And let me tell you something about those pass defenses.
You read those stats.
I read them perfectly. 10 pass defenses. And the thing about pass defenses is, especially with the Texans, those pass defenses turn into, I believe, 4 interceptions. 2 of them I know were returned for touchdowns.
Yeah.
Look, this kid, now I think a lot of us were saying the same thing too when they drafted J.J. Watt. J.J. who?
Yeah.
But this kid is phenomenal. And it was the reason why they were could just let Mario
look
go.
at him last year. All right, the first year J.J. Watt was ever in the league, when Mario went down in week 4 or week 3 with his pectoral or something like that.
Pectoral muscle.
J.J. Watt shined.
Right.
We all knew here in Texas that Mario Williams had finally, met his match. He's not coming back.
Right.
He had a phenomenal year his first year. Mario Williams, not so much.
Not so much, right.
I mean,
JJ in his first year, now he played all 16 games. He ended up with 49. Now this was last year.
Yeah.
Okay. And he played all 16 games. He ended up with 49 solo tackles, 56 total tackles, 5.5 sacks, and 4 pass defenses. That was last year.
He's already basically almost doubled that. And we're only in the week 7.
Right,
exactly. Still got games left to play.
Exactly. So, we look, I'm going to tell you something, man. The issue that I've had with Mario, and that we both have had with Mario, is that he does not demand a double team. I always was trying to push for the guy because I understand he's always playing hurt. One of those years he had a sports hernia the entire time. This year, now he has his wrist injury. Yeah. play the sad song. This year he has a wrist injury. So, look, the guy just doesn't have it. And whatever it is, he does not have it.
He never had it
to
begin with. He should have never been the #1 draft pick. Now, I'm not saying they should have drafted Vince Young. I'm not saying they should have drafted Reggie Bush. There had to have been somebody else in their draft that we could have at least gotten, something for.
Exactly. So, I think we both agree. Speaking on this particular matchup.
Buffalo Bills are going to win.
Jimmy, you okay? You need to take a temperature?
No,
you need some medicine or anything?
I'm sorry, that was a misslip of my tongue.
I know you were just joking. I know you were playing.
No, the Texans are going to win this game.
Yeah, Texans will win this game easy. We both agree.
I'm actually looking forward to the tweets after.
Right.
My wrist was hurt.
My wrist hurt, and he put some hands in my face. Come on, Mario. But anyway.
Going back.
Yeah, going to that next matchup. They'll have their 3rd primetime game against the Chicago Bears in Chicago.
I like this matchup for all the wrong reasons.
Well, tell me about it, Jimmy.
Chicago Bears, I like them a lot.
Yeah.
NFC team, same division as Green Bay.
Right.
Know how to stretch the field. they could follow the same blueprint Green Bay did and just tear apart this defense.
Right, and it's going to be interesting, because again, I think weather may play a factor in this game because it's colder up there. They're not going to be playing inside, and with Brandon Marshall there, and Brandon Marshall, I'm sorry, torched them last year when he was with Miami, and
Did you say Martian?
I think I did say Marshall. But Brandon Marshall torched him last year when he was with Miami, and he had Chris Henning throwing to him. So,
I think Chad Henning.
Dang, I'm just jacking this whole thing up. Chad Henning.
You just don't like nobody other than Houston, do you?
Chad Henning throwing to him. So, it's going to be interesting to see what this game will look like, because up to this point, Brandon Marshall looked really, really good with his old running mate in Denver, Jay Cutler throwing in the ball. So, I feel like, look, I think it'll be a good game. We know that they'll be able to get pressure on Jay Cutler because everybody has. And we know that the Texans can get to the quarterback because they have all year long. But I don't think that it'll be enough to win this game up in Chicago.
Yeah, I think just with the fact of that we haven't seen a decent run game from any of the opposing, players that the Texans have faced. I like Matt Forte.
Yeah.
I like Bush.
Yeah.
I like their passing game that Chicago has. I mean, they're in a tough division by themselves.
Right.
And they're in the NFC. NFC this season is stronger than I think I've ever really remembered them being.
Right. From top to bottom, exactly.
I mean, just even the teams that are 3-3,
right,
just look really solid.
Right.
And for them being 3-3, they've had to go through a lot of tough roads to get there.
Exactly.
But I do feel like this will be a tough matchup for Houston.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a tough matchup too, and I think the thing that's gonna tilt it in Chicago's favor is that they're playing in Chicago.
Yeah.
And they play well in Chicago. They're playing for something, trying to stay out in front of their division. Minnesota dropping their Thursday night matchup. When Minnesota dropping their Thursday night matchup, they can create a bigger gap between them and the rest of the division if they win this game against Houston. So I think that the Houston Texans will lose this game against Chicago.
I do too.
Yeah. So we both agree. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
1-1.
Yeah, they'll be 1-1 with this in this quarter of the season. And then they play the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We're not going to spend too much time on this one.
Why not?
They're 1-5. That's why. They're 1-5. I don't, unless Haley's Comet circles the earth and somebody wishes on a shooting star and throws a magical penny down a well and talks to a giant on the top of a beanstalk, they are not going to win this game. Okay, they would have to have the golden goose, the egg, and Rumpelstiltskin to win this game. It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to talk about it.
Well, my counterpart here is pretty confident that the Texans will win this game against Jacksonville. And I'm confident too. I mean, Jacksonville, they don't have enough skill position players. Maurice Jones-Drew is hurt. Blaine Gabbert. It doesn't matter.
Even if he's healthy.
It doesn't matter. I'm trying, guys.
There is no defense. He could be healthy. They could have the National Guard on that field. I don't think it would help. So, Jacksonville is a lost cause this season. There is nothing good out of Jacksonville.
Straight rebuild mode.
They've been in rebuild mode since the franchise started.
Well, I'm not going to say that. They had a couple of good years when Kaufman was there. They had some good years when Kaufman was there. Look, if you take the blueprint from the first matchup they had against Jacksonville, in Jacksonville, when they beat Jacksonville 27-7, and it wasn't even that close, I think it's going to be a little bit more the same for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We're spending too much time.
Yeah, we really are. So that'll be 2-1 after this quarter of the season. After they throttle the Jaguars. So then they'll be having their Thanksgiving Day matchup again, another primetime matchup. Texans have a host of them this year. Primetime matchup. Fourth one. And they'll be playing the Detroit Lions on Gobble Gobble Day.
Gobble Gobble.
Turkey Day. So at Detroit,
I'm in a toss up on this one.
Yeah,
because I've been thinking about this matchup. I like the defense, or at least the front four for Detroit.
Right.
Excuse me, a lot. I like them a lot. Their secondary, not so much.
Right.
But had Megatron really turned the corner, I would really feel more secure Detroit would win this game.
Right.
Megatron has not been a factor.
And then, not only that, but, with them, with them losing, Nate Burleson went out for the season in their last matchup. So that now you really don't have anybody to get the coverage off of them.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, too, I think that Madden curse is happening.
Well, he's not hurt, though. Because I was thinking the same thing, too.
No, he basically is hurt. Look at his numbers from last year to this year.
His stats are hurting up.
He might as well not even be on the field. I mean, I don't even think he has but maybe one touchdown.
That's it. He has one touchdown.
That's it. I think at this time he had like 127.
Last year, right?
I mean, he didn't have that many. So no one take that sad serious.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, exactly. We don't want to hear all that down here. I have 127 touchdowns. We know he didn't have 127 touchdowns.
Yeah, 224. I'm just cutting the number short. But no, I mean, I really contribute to the Madden cover.
Yeah.
I mean, because it dates back.
Right.
It dates back. Y'all, if y'all believe me, or even if you don't, leave a comment on the bottom. Let us know.
Right.
Because we truly want to know. I do believe it is the Madden curse. Because this man has not done anything. This man is being covered single-handedly.
They still keeping the safeties over the top.
But I mean,
but you're exactly right.
A lot of teams are slowly, but it's not a mandatory no more.
Right.
If they want to blitz, they feel comfortable with their corner, taking care of them.
Yeah, I believe something is not right with them, and they just not saying it. But something is going on with Calvin.
It's John Madden.
Yeah, it's like magic, but it's real.
Yeah. It's John Madden is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I had to pick, I'm going to go ahead and say, on primetime, Thanksgiving, I believe it's the first time the Houston Texans have ever played, isn't it? Is it the first time?
On Thanksgiving, yes, sir.
I think they'll actually win this game.
I think they'll win it, too. And then they'll be 3-1.
3-1.
3-1 in this quarter of the season.
So if it's 3-1, that would put them at 9-2.
9-2
for the year.
9-2.
Now, before everybody starts getting happy and keep quoting Super Bowl bound, I'll just keep looking back at the Love You Blues. Because this is the only reason why I'm having a hard time with the Texans.
Right.
I am a Steelers fan, have been for a long time. Most people who watch this know. Texans always find a way to lose.
Right.
The Oiler days.
You're talking about the Houston teams is what you're saying, right? They
always, for some odd reason, they can never be satisfied with winning. They want the other side of the coin too. They want to have their cake and eat it too. You can't do that. And I think it really shows a lot. Because, I mean, if you look back through Houston's history with football teams or any kind of sports.
They called it Choke City for a while there. They called Houston Choke City for a while there. Then it became Clutch City after the Rockets won a couple of championships. But, I'm sorry. You go ahead and finish up.
Go ahead.
Because the thing about it is that, what I don't want the Texans to do, which I don't think they are doing, is don't put the cart in front of the horse. You still got a lot of stuff you need to take care of.
And that's the reason why I'm glad that they got that loss when they did.
I agree with you.
Because I think if they would have went on and kept having that, oh wow, we're 7-0, 8-0, 9-0.
Right.
Just like every other team has. When it comes down to that time when you need it,
right,
it's just not going to be there.
Right.
Because you're not going to take teams seriously.
Exactly.
You're not going to look at them at the same as you are. Oh, we're 10-0, we can do it.
Right.
Oh, we're 11-0, we can do it. Oh, we're perfect, and teams love that.
Right.
And me and Vince were talking about this today. I played high school football. The biggest thing that I loved the most was having to go play at other people's homecoming.
Right.
Because that told me that they thought that we were just pushovers.
Right.
So that's why I'm glad that they got that loss when they did.
Right.
To let them know, hey, look, there are teams out there. You're not done.
Right.
There's plenty of football left.
Exactly. And I think going in, like I said, just like you were saying, we think they'll be 9-2 after this third quarter of the season. And they'll pretty much have their division wrapped up.
Their division will be done.
Yeah, the division pretty much be wrapped up. But it's going to be interesting to see what they'll do in the last quarter of the season. But again, the Texans are headed in the right direction as long as they continue to keep their eyes on the prize, which is to win a championship and not just get to the playoffs. Okay, this will do it for our third quarter of the season for the Houston Texans.
Yeah, just hit us up on Facebook on Couch Coaching 12. Leave your comments there. But we've also got a Twitter account now as well. Couch Coaching 12 at Twitter. So hit us up, leave our comments. We'll get back to you.
Thanks for watching. Peace.